I need a break from the work, need a break from the world, need a break from my girl. She doing too much, cause I've been going hard and I never even got any kind of peace of mind. I'm doing too much.
The thing that kept me up is making the dinero. Tryna take a beat that got me twisted like tornado. Weekend coming up, so I know that I'm okay though. One night off, I know I'm losing a few gas though.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we come to Friday. Friday to Sunday, then back on next Monday. Point me to the drink, point me to the drugs. I might pass out tonight, so what? Point me to the dank and give me all the hugs. I'ma help your girl get right, so what? Point me to the drink, point me to the drugs. I might pass out tonight, so what? Point me to the dank and give me all the hugs. I'ma help your girl get right, so what? And I've been keeping my head down, I'm making the plays now. They tried to close the doors, but I'm making the way now. Cause weekdays aren't for the weak, strong days are for the long game. Sorry, but 2K's the wrong game. But I can never wait to get away though. I don't play with money like it's Play-Doh. I'ma scoop your girl, I'ma lay though. Give her a long piece, she never stay though. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we come to Friday. Friday to Sunday, then back on next Monday. Point me to the drink, point me to the drugs. I might pass out tonight, so what? Point me to the dank and give me all the hugs. I'ma help your girl get right, so what? Point me to the drink, point me to the drugs. I might pass out tonight, so what? Point me to the dank and give me all the hugs. I'ma help your girl get right, so what?
Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome. I am the official UrbanTherapist. Today, we're going to view a documentary that came across my desk today. The documentary is called The Vanishing of the Black Family. This documentary happened in around about 1986. So I'm going to give my view, view on it, my assessment as well from a sociologist perspective. So tune in. We're going to break this documentary down. I'm going to give y'all some feedback. Tune in right now. Now, first of all, I do want to let y'all know that for the next couple of episodes forward, and eventually, and I get it, but I'm not stopping for sure. You know, no man, no woman is meant to be alone at all. Period. I'm not gonna come on her and try to, cap or anything like that, saying that all men think this way.
Well, I have a question and a statement for you. First of all, sir, I forgot the statement, but my question is so you've never loved two women before at the same time?
No. Not my whole entire life. No, I never cheated a day before my life.
I ain't asking about cheating. I'm just saying, just in the dating phase. Okay, I remember my statement now.
He's online. He gotta say that.
I remember my statement now. I'm gonna let him come. I'm gonna let him live. I think I remember my statement. What was it? I forgot again. Damn it. Go ahead.
Sometimes the stuff that comes out of your head, it's not beneficial at all. You do realize that this whole scenario that you're mentioning about, you do realize that it is just about impossible. It's more like a unicorn fairy tale, like say for example, when my one daughter's telling me a fairy tale story that it sounds great. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it just doesn't exist. Many modern day women, they'll literally throw out their accolades and stuff as well. They'll throw out their accolades saying, well, I have this, I have that. What do you have? I done went to school. I done got a bachelor's degree. I done got a master's degree. I done got all these different things. What do you have? Oh, that's a 9-to-5 job? Child. I have to be like real strategic with my networking now. And I have to like really just sit down and just really just vet people.
And just for a record, this is what we would call baby mama drama.
Absolutely.
It's not just exclusive to one race or one particular group.
As y'all could clearly see. As y'all can clearly see.
Urban, tell me what was the win. Tell me because a win in these verses is different for everybody's win. What is your thing that you think that they got the win for?
Terrence Howard.
Oh, bye. Come up with this line.
They shut it down with that. To be cycled through the system. They're not going to have no type of guidance, no type of support. Then also in the worst case scenarios that they end up developing mental behaviors or mental disorders, which make the situation worse, and which in turn they end up becoming adults, and hence this is where we get people who are sociopaths, psychopaths, chronic narcissists, and all these different other behaviors as well. Y'all know the topic. The topic is talking about women being master manipulators, which this is true. Women are master manipulators. And you keep saying that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to change this, I'm going to change that. But yet and still, you have not did it yet. Why? Why? What's the holdup? What is the holdup? Today, on this Monday, on this Motivational Monday, it's time for Urban to give you some tough love. It's time for Urban to tell you to stop procrastinating. They literally create fake news because they know that negative behavior sells. It's all part of psychology. They know that through the psychology of it all, they know that you as the viewer, you're gonna the first thing that's gonna come into your mind right now is that, hold up, why are they beefing? And what you're gonna do, you're gonna immediately gonna start investigating. You're gonna tune in and find out what is the beef about. It's all part of psychology.
Don't care how long it take to get an out back. All my niggas outside, steak, bitch, we out back.
Once again, everybody, welcome. I am the official UrbanTherapist. I appreciate you tuning in for this another episode. This episode is going to be pretty interesting. I'm glad that y'all here today because I'm going to do a review on a documentary that happened back in 1986. This documentary was called The Vanishing of the Black Family. So we're going to want to go through this. I'm going to give my sociological perspective about everything that they're talking about in this documentary. But I also want you as the viewer as well to participate as well. Give your feedback about this, how you feel about everything that's going to be presented in this documentary, okay? But before we start, let's go ahead and acknowledge all our early birds in the chat. Miss Williams, I see you. Welcome. Hey, Rush, appreciate you tuning in, bro. Welcome as well. We got JJ in the house. Welcome, bro. Appreciate you tuning in as well. And I see y'all talking to us in the chat, too. By the way, Mad, what's up with it? Welcome. Appreciate it. As well, who else we got in the house? Oh, Miss Faith, hey, welcome. Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate it as well. Who else we got? Mark, what's up with it, bro? What's up with it? Appreciate you tuning in. Now, once again, every single time, y'all always got something to say about my intro, but me being how the way I am, I know that if I have a long intro, that give y'all more than enough time to tune in, all right? So y'all won't be late because I know that many of y'all enter in on what is known as CP time or Negro time or Black people time. So that's why Urban do what he do with his intros, to give you plenty of time to get here. I have my live set today. I have it set at 7:30. Guess what time y'all start coming in here? 7:45, 7:50. While my intro is going, while my countdown timer is going. So that's why I do what I do. Method behind the madness. But nevertheless, y'all, once again, I appreciate y'all tuning in today. So let's go ahead and dive into this. Once again, this is Black History Month. All this month, I will be talking about everything dealing with, from a Black history perspective, not just sharing, the history and culture of our people, but rather I'm dealing with the sociological and the psychological behavior of our people or Black people. Now presented to us all month long, presenting the problems. Therefore, we could come together, not only as me, but you as the viewer could come together and provide solutions to different problems that I present this month. So once again, I appreciate y'all tuning into this. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and dive right into this, okay? I'm hoping that I chose the right video, so YouTube won't end up stopping us in the dead middle of this. So if they do, then we just gonna roll with it, all right? So let's go ahead and dive right into this this topic, okay? This very, very important topic, all right?
Raise your hand if you're married. None of you are married. Raise your hand if you would like to be married to your baby's father. One. The rest of you who don't plan to get married, why don't you plan to get married? I'd like to know that.
You already have your child to think about, and then a whole family to care for. It's a lot of responsibility. And then you don't want the commitments.
I wouldn't want no man holding me down because I think I can make it as a single parent.
But don't you think you might need help in raising that baby from a man?
Not really. I didn't have a father. My father wasn't in the home, so, it really, male figures are not substantially important in the family.
Thinking about holding up for no sex, my man. If a girl, she get having a baby, carrying a baby, hey, that's on her. I'm not gonna stop my pleasures because of another woman.
What about birth control? What about condom?
Girls don't like them things. They don't like them things. Girl tell you to take them things off. They figure that you saying that they filthy or they dirty or something.
It's been a startling change in values. 25 years ago, you would not have heard such things said so freely because they were not embraced so widely. The strong family was still the backbone of Black America, and 3 out of 4 children had both parents at home. That is true no longer. Most Black children are now growing up without their fathers. The result is a world turned upside down as children copy what they see and repeat what they learn. LaDawn said she didn't have a father in her home and doesn't think her children need one. She's not unusual. Half the Black families today are headed only by a woman. Clorinda said she could make it on her own as a single parent. She has never been married and is raising her daughter without a man's help. She's not unusual. Today, nearly 60% of all Black children are born out of wedlock. Timothy said his children are not his responsibility. He has left them to be supported by their mothers and welfare. He's not unusual either. For LaDawn and Clorinda and Timothy, and many more like them in cities all over America, the traditional family no longer exists. It has vanished, and something new is taking its place. Single women and the children they're rearing alone are the fastest growing part of the Black population. What becomes of the Black family in a world where the values are being turned upside down?
If the parent is 17 and 18, uneducated, unmotivated, fooling around, wandering around, what's the child going to learn? Who's to teach him? When you learn something, you was taught by your parents. It was reinforced by school and your neighbors, but it was taught by your parents. Well, if the parents don't know anything, how are they going to teach the children? So it's not racism that I'm fighting right now. It's the lack of motivation. See, I'm not even talking about racism. Maybe later on we'll get back to that. But I think we are destroying ourselves.
Yeah, but before we get ready to hear Clorinda and Darren's story, so far, how do y'all feel about this introduction to this documentary? There have been a lot of things that have been presented so far that could correct so much conversation or so much dialogue just from the introduction itself. And yes, by the way, Matt, that is a Jerry Curl. So this documentary does take place in 1986, okay? So yeah, the Jerry Curl and all of that is going to be in play. So far, how do y'all feel about just the introduction period? How y'all feel that? How y'all feel about that? Sorry. How y'all feel about that? Notice the question that was being asked at the very beginning with the one women. Notice that question. They had asked the question, how many of y'all want to get married? None of the women raised their hand up. None of them. But yet, the same set of women was more than eager to allow a man to impregnate them. They was more than eager to not only allow this man to impregnate them, but also they're more than eager to allow the man to be what they call a deadbeat father. Now keep in mind, these are the men that they're choosing. Keep in mind that these are the men that they're choosing. All because that they want to have a child. So I want y'all to keep in mind of that. And also keep in mind that this is back in 1986, pretty much in the 80s. This is back in the 80s. So the question that I'm asking to y'all today is this still prevalent even right now? Even right now in the modern generation, is this still prevalent right now? Is this still prevalent in the modern day generation? Is this quote unquote curse still going? Yeah, absolutely, because in this generation, that's where the baby boomers started it at. Absolutely, I agree, Mark. This is where it started at. But I want y'all to I'm gonna play Clorinda and Darren's story. I want y'all to pay close attention to the interview with her, the interview with Darren. Pay close attention to her mentality as well too. Pay close attention to her mentality and pay close attention to Darren's mentality as well. And I want y'all to give your honest perspective about how the way you feel. And also compare and contrast to see if this is still going on in our modern day generation right now. Yeah. And so we're going to see this documentary is going to dive into that. We're going to dive into this quote-unquote brainwashing. We're going to dive into the behavior of our people. We're going to dive into that. It's going to also dive into the system itself, which is the welfare system itself. So it's going to examine a lot of things in this documentary, right? So yeah, let's get with it. Let's dive into it.
This is Newark, New Jersey, one of America's inner cities. Inner city is a polite name for ghetto, as in black ghetto. Those of us who don't live in the ghetto are brought here usually by television and usually only when there are violent pictures to show. But we have to come here if you want to understand those fearsome statistics about the vanishing black family. Now, a lot of white families are in trouble too. Single-parent families are twice as common in America today as they were 20 years ago. But for the majority of white children, family still means a mother and a father. This is not true for most black children. For them, things are getting worse. Today, black teenagers have the highest pregnancy rate in the industrial world, and in the black inner city.
So far, how y'all feel about his response as well? How y'all feel about his response as well? Okay. Do y'all think it's a racist thing with this problem that's happening right now in Black America and the Black community? Do y'all think it's a racist thing that's happening right now? Oh, I had switched the sound. My bad. But do y'all think it's a racist thing happening? Now I had. Can you hear me now? I had switched the sound. I switched the sound now. My bad. Yeah, can y'all hear me now? Yeah, let me know if you hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Mm-mm-mm. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me test the audio real quick. Okay, well, got you. Hold up. Let me fix that real quick, like.
Of her baby.
I dreamed that having a little baby, you could just cuddle in your arms, just hug all the time, kiss on it, smell it, because it's so sweet.
All right, I got it fixed now. Let me go back real quick. I'm going to start it right here.
Okay, hold on.
You accidentally turned the audio off. My bad, bro.
It is the beginning of another school day in Newark, New Jersey. Another day of class for Clorinda Henderson. She is 17 and had hoped to graduate from high school next year, but that was before the birth of her baby.
I dreamed that having a little baby, you could just cuddle in your arms, just hug all the time, kiss on it, smell it, because it's so sweet. I thought it'd be fun until I had her.
The reality's different?
The reality just punched me right in the eye. I had to pinch myself and see if I was here because I was like, this is too much.
Clorinda was only 15 when she got pregnant with her daughter, Shaquana. She is not unusual. Half of all black teenagers become pregnant. Clorinda has never been married. She's still living with her mother at home, where she's raising her baby daughter. Clorinda goes to a special school for dropouts after she takes her daughter to a daycare center. She has 5th grade math skills and reads at a 6th grade level.
When I got pregnant, I said, well, I'ma have this baby, and she's not gonna stand in the way of my education. I'm not gonna let no one stand in the way of my education. I ain't gonna be like these other girls, just drop out, can't get no job, no money, have to be on welfare.
Ready. On the vocabulary. Bingo. Clorinda learned about birth control in sex education courses, but she still became pregnant. You think it was a mistake?
Well, I'll say no, because I wasn't on any, birth control methods. Neither was he. And, we were sexually active, and when it happened, it just happened.
When you think back to that day when you learned you were pregnant.
You know one thing about her and her story that I have to commend her on this particular part is that when he asked her about birth control and stuff, and he asked her was it a mistake, she actually took accountability and said that no, it wasn't planned at all. Long story short, we decided to do this, and it is what it is. It just happened that way. You know what I'm saying? So I do commend her that she actually took accountability on that versus other women who will sit up here and go all the way around the world. They'll sit up here blame the baby daddy. They'll blame the condom. They'll blame the birth control. They'll blame this. They'll blame the sister blame. All these different things instead of taking their part or their accountability with that.
What went through your mind?
Oh gosh, I'm gonna tell my mother. And I'm gonna tell my mother she gonna make me get an abortion. I was really scared, I think.
Why didn't you want to get an abortion?
Because I wanted his baby.
What did you like about him?
His legs.
His legs?
I got a thing for bow-legged boys.
Bow-legged boys?
I love them. They have some gorgeous legs. I just don't know.
Darren Lyle is the father of Clorinda's baby. He is 18 and lives in central Newark.
Wait a minute. Hold up. She said that what was attractive about him is his legs, right? Y'all see this boy leg? What the hell? And she said she was attracted to that. Talk about, oh, he bow-legged. I was attracted about that. So she was attracted about him being bow-legged, right? And immediately was that attracted that she wanted to have this dude baby.
He dropped out of high school when he was 16. He has never held a steady job.
I spend most of my time listening to the radio. I don't go to school, I don't work, I don't do nothing. Just like this, killing time.
Did you want to have a baby?
Not really. It just happened. She just popped up pregnant. And I just...
Were your friends impressed?
A lot of, everybody was telling me, that,
Now him on the other hand, right? He asked him the same question. He talk about, shoot, I don't know, we were just having sex, and that's thing poof, she was pregnant. So far with the girl, she took accountability, but with him, he's not taking accountability for his action. He just like, well, I didn't know. He was acting as though it's like, I didn't know that could happen. We was having sex, and here we are.
She looked just like me, and she is kind of cute, and kind of pretty. That was like, make me feel good.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Do many of them have babies?
That seems like that's all my baby doing around is making babies and shit, making babies.
Have you asked Darren to help you with the baby?
No, because I see he can't even help himself. He can. It's pitiful to say that, but he can.
He wasn't prepared to be a father?
No. And he still isn't.
Were you ready to be a mother?
Well, no. But now that I am, I just have to take it step by step.
She not tender-headed.
So, all right. Okay, y'all. So, she knew what she was laying up with Darren, right? She knew that he wasn't prepared to be a father. She knew that he didn't have no type of fatherly qualities about him. She knew that he was out there hanging out on the street with his jukebox, chilling on the block with his friends. She knew all this about him. But yet and still, she had chose to allow this man to get her pregnant. She chose that, knowing good and well what was going to happen, but she chose that. Now, remember earlier when I was telling y'all that at least she was taking accountability that, yeah, this is what happened, it took accountability of her actions, but yet it still was her action wise? Especially when she already knew right off the bat that Darren was not fit to be a father, that Darren pretty much had a childlike mentality. Both of them, in other words, both of them are children. They're both 15. So she knew that. She knew that entering in. She knew that when she literally opened her legs up to him and grant him that opportunity to give her that seed. But my theory behind this is and this is just my theory and my perspective about this. I believe that she was hanging around with her other friends who were actually got pregnant and had children, and they were showing her how cool it is to be a single mother. And so she wanted to be a part of the population. She wanted to be a part of the status quo. Therefore, she allowed this dude to impregnate her so she could be a part of that. So she wanted to have a baby. And by her actions, it really didn't matter if the dude was qualified to be a father. It didn't matter to her, long as she had a baby. Therefore, that's why she when the dude asked her, is he taking care of the baby? She said no, and then she would tell me, well, I don't even ask him because I know he can't even take care of himself, so I don't even ask him. That lets me believe that all along she wanted to have a baby, and it didn't matter what dude or what suitor for her to have that child with. But that is my perspective.
Brenda relies on welfare to support Shaquana, but it's her mother, Gloria Henderson, who gets the check for the whole family. Gloria, 34, has never been married. She was a teenager when Clorinda was born, just as her own mother, Clorinda's grandmother, had been when Gloria was born.
When you were pregnant, did you assume that you could turn to welfare for help after the baby came?
Well, yeah, but I didn't have her just to collect welfare. I had her because I felt that it would have been a part of me. I would have had somebody to live for and also somebody to love and love me back.
Here's another thing too that I want to point out to y'all as well. Notice her response behind this, and I'm also going to talk about the mom too in a few seconds. But notice her response about this. All right, she said that she wanted to have this child because she wanted to have something to live for, and she knew by having this baby that she would have something to live for. In other words, this baby is going to be her beacon of light. This baby is going to be her beacon of hope for her living her life. Now, here's the question. How many women have the same type of mentality as well? How many women think the same way how she thinking right now, that she'll allow a man who wasn't qualified to have a one baby with her, knowing good and well he wasn't qualified to be a father, but allowed this dude to get her pregnant just so she could have purpose in life, just so she has something to live for. Where she's focusing her energy solely on her child, not focusing her energy or creating the nuclear family household, but only focusing on just the child and the child only. How many women think like that? A matter of fact, how many women have that mentality right now in the modern day generation? Have that same type of mentality as her? Now, another thing that I want to point out too as well is that notice the generation curse behind this as well. Notice the generation curse behind this as well. Notice that her mom had her at a young age without her father in the household. Notice that her mom's mother had her at a young age without the father in the household. And notice something else too, is that all of them were on welfare. All of them. So she had taught her daughter, right now, she had taught her daughter like, hey, get on the system, get on welfare, because the government daddy is going to take care of you. So don't worry about it. You don't have to worry about the man being in the household. Just get on welfare. They're going to cut a check. They're going to take care of you. You're going to be able to get food stamps. You're going to be able to get Medicaid. You're going to be able to get welfare check, which they now they call it, in the modern day, they call it TANF. So you're going to be able to want to get on all these different programs. So don't worry about all that. And they taught her that. But I'm going to go deeper into that in a little bit, all right? Joy, what's up? What's up with it? What's up with it? Appreciate you tuning in. All right, man. He's saying breaking up the home, giving out welfare, so they send the drug into the community and then come through and interview the aftermath. It's what this looked like now. If you know the history, I mean, yeah, yep. Keep in mind that once again, this has happened in the 80s, which, if I'm not mistaken, the 80s is known as the baby boomer era, if I'm correct, right? So all these baby boomers is the one who set the stage for where we're at right now in the modern day generation. So yeah, I absolutely agree. I agree with you, Mad, on that. I do. But let's continue. Let's dive into it.
Is your daughter the first person you've ever loved?
I really, really love my daughter.
2 months after the birth of their baby, Florinda was pregnant again by Darren. This time she had an abortion. She didn't think she could handle 2 little children while still a teenager herself.
Your grandmother was a single.
Now, before they get to this, I also want to point out this as well, too. Once again, she allowed this dude that she clearly said he don't have the qualifications of being a father, but yet and still, once again, she allowed Darren, once again, to get her pregnant again, to have another child. But only this time, she decided like, hey, I can't handle this. So she decided to have an abortion. But what I really believe is that her mom and grandmom had a say-so in that second one. I believe that her mom and grandma had the one say so in the second one. I believe her mom and grandma say, hey, if you're not having a child by this dude again, you won't be able to live with us no more. You're going to have to get out there and live on your own. Take care of this child on your own. So what you need to do is go ahead and have an abortion. That's what I believe will happen in that situation. Then another thing too is that notice what she said also. The dude asked her, have you ever loved someone? Notice she never said that she loved Darren. She never said that. She never said that she loved Darren, the child's father. She never said that. She said that she loved her child. Now, this goes back to what Urban was talking about when Urban had made this claim to y'all. When Urban made this claim to y'all, and y'all was kind of looking at me crazy about this. I made the claim that women love conditionally, but men love unconditionally. Once again, women love conditionally, but women love conditionally, but however, men love unconditionally. The only exception to that rule is when a woman ends up having a child. Then when she have that child, she will love that child unconditionally. She will love her child unconditionally. The reason why she will love her child unconditionally, because she knows that she has control of that child. She knows she could control the child's life. She knows that she have quote unquote possession of the child. This is the reason why you hear many women says my child or my baby. They don't never mention our baby when it pertains to her and the child's father. This is the reason why they say that. They say my child, my baby. But it's funny too that the only time they will give claim to the child father is when the child is doing certain type of behavior that they not approve of. Am I lying? When a certain type of behavior that they don't approve of, then they'll say, oh, you acting like your daddy. Oh, this is your child. Come, or they'll finally reach out to the dad and say, come get your child. Because your child is acting up. It's your child then. It's the man's child then. But when the child is not resembling negative behavior, it's her child. Say I'm lying about that. It is her child. Generation X. Okay, that's what's up. Or it might be the baby boomers. Y'all don't know. I have to look it up, bro. I have to look up and see. I didn't do my research. Yeah, Urban did do his research, so I'm rolling with it. But yeah, let's continue, y'all.
Woman with a child. Your mother, a single woman with a child. Now you. Why is that happening?
I really didn't plan on getting pregnant, but if I really had somebody to really sit down and talk to, like really express my feelings to them, I don't think none of this would have happened. And then when it did happen, my grandmother's like, I told you this, I told you this. Tell me nothing.
Nobody told Darren anything either. He too lives at home with his mother. Where's your father?
Locked up.
Locked up where?
Green Street.
What for?
Fighting and shit. Fighting. Violence. Stuff like that.
Had anybody ever told you what it is like to be a father?
I like watching other older, that had
kids. What did you learn from them? How did you?
I learned that they take a lot of patience. Take a lot of patience.
You have a lot of patience?
I don't got a lot of patience.
Clorinda doesn't always have a lot of patience either.
You want to fight?
No.
Then don't ask me if I want to fight if you don't want to fight. Don't say to me.
You got my course then.
Come in now.
Talk to you. You like going out like that.
No, you went out. You shouldn't have said nothing to me. You done already pissed me off.
What I do?
2 months after her abortion, Clorinda and Darren broke off their relationship. They see each other rarely now. Once in a while, Clorinda will take Shaquana to visit. Do you ever think about marrying Clorinda? Why not?
I ain't thinking about that. Nah, that's the last thing on my mind.
You ever feel depressed?
I don't be like sad. I just be like frustrated. I be like really like frustrated.
What are the odds that your daughter will follow the same route? Because there was your grandmother,
No.
your mother, and you.
No, I see to that.
How?
She won't. I would sit down, I would talk to her about her being a young lady. Like, Juana, if you go out here, you have sex, be sure you on birth control. Or, you know, if you do have sex, make sure whoever you having sex with care about you. Don't just let them let, you know, them get over on you thinking they got a piece of the action now. They can go tell Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Did your mother tell you those things?
No.
You tell them to yourself?
I talk to myself in the mirror. But
and you say no?
No. And like I said to my daughter, no, no more.
All right, so how do y'all feel about this so far? About this story so far? And yes, Matt, it appears that it is in their blood to want to talk down on us, as you could clearly see. And there's another thing that I want y'all to pay attention to as well, too. Notice also her response. Her response, I believe, shaped up how the way the modern day generation is right now. Y'all know how the modern day women are right now, where they don't need a man because they are the sole breadwinner of the household. That they have these jobs, these careers. They have all these different things, right? But the only thing they need a man for is just to impregnate them, if that's something they want to do. That's something they want to do. They even go further to say that even if I do get pregnant, I don't necessarily have to have a dude to have the full sexual experience with the dude. All I got to do is go to a sperm bank and just let them assimilate the sperm in me, in my egg, and we're good to go. And I don't have to experience sex at all. I don't have to experience that at all. But also it's very interesting that you had mentioned that too, Matt, is that not only she was talking down on him, but keep in mind, she was the one who chose him, knowing good and well that he wasn't qualified to be a father to begin with. She knew that. But guess what happened? She ended up using her manipulation tactics, telling that dude like, hey, we don't need no condom. We don't need no condom. Because it feels better without the condom. It feels so much better without the condom. So I don't know, bro. They'll pop back up. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking she told him. And he just went on with it. You know what? You're right. Then when it's time for him to want to come, he about ready to pull out, and you know what happened? It's time for him to pull out, and guess what? She ended up locking her legs and stuff. So he won't pull out. So let's hear Alice's story.
Alice Sandra Jackson is 23. She's the mother of two, expecting a third, and is not married. She too lives in Newark. Like nearly half of all black children in America, Alice's children are being raised in poverty. They live a subsidized life in subsidized housing. But that's not what Alice wanted or intended. Alice lives in one of the toughest neighborhoods in Newark, in the project where she was born and brought up. but she hoped that one day she would move out of here. She graduated from high school, went to business college for a year, and worked steadily until she became pregnant with her first child.
You know, I was doing so good before I was pregnant. I had a little job. I kept money, you know, stuff. But after I had the child, that's when money started going low.
What was your reaction when you found out you were pregnant the first time? Did you intend to get pregnant?
It wasn't planned. But when I got pregnant, I wanted it. You know, I wanted to be a mother. You know, it was exciting to me. I just thought I had something of my own, a little child that's gonna call me mommy. You know, after you have them, it's hard. You know, you gotta bomb this, you gotta bomb that.
Malik is Alice's firstborn. He is now 3 years old. Soon after he was born, Alice, then 20, quit her job to take care of him. 16 months later, her second child, Antoine, was born. When we met, she was 6 months pregnant with her third child. Timothy Mcseed is 26, the father of Alice's 3 children. Though they're not married, they see each other regularly.
When I first met him, I didn't like him. But when he started talking to me, it seemed like he was like a man that wanted to have a home, have children, take care of them.
Did you talk with Timothy about how you were going to support the baby when you were pregnant?
No, that's what we didn't do. No, we didn't even talk about how we was going to support the child.
Timothy Mcseed held his last steady job 2.5 years ago. He's been arrested several times on robbery and drug charges. He was brought up in Newark by his mother, who was 16 when Timothy was born. His father has another family in another city. Timothy has a talent for drawing, which he has never developed. He dropped out of high school at 16 and spent 2 years in the Job Corps. He was 23 when he and Alice had their first child. Timothy does not support any of his children.
Now, before we get deeper to Tim's story, let's go back to Alice real quick. Now, once again, notice when he asked her, did you want her to be pregnant? She said, no, it wasn't planned. So far, there's 2 women that said, no, it wasn't planned. But however, they're pregnant. So my question is that if you said that you wasn't planned to be pregnant, how in the hell are you pregnant? How in the hell are you having children if it wasn't planned? Logically speaking, if you're having the children, that means that you plan to be pregnant. Is that correct? Am I lying about that? Am I seeing that in a different way? PMP, what's up, bro? What's up? So y'all answer that question for me. 2 women so far. 2 women. Both of them so far said, hey, I wasn't planning on being pregnant. It just happened. It just happened magically that I was pregnant. Don't know how it happened. It just happened. So do that not mean that they actually planned to be pregnant? There was something that they wanted to do. That there was something that they wanted to happen. Because just like I say, if that be the case, they will go through every measure possible to not be pregnant. They'll be using birth control. They'll be enforcing these dudes to have condom on and everything. Correct? If it was a plan.
How many children do you have?
6.
He fathered those 6 children by 4 women. He also had 2 more children by 2 other women, but one died in infancy and the other was aborted. We asked him about the birth of his first surviving child.
It was kind of a funny experience because, like, me and the girl was just messing around, right? And she was going with somebody else. She used to be an old girlfriend of mine. She managed to get popped up by me.
Okay, that's the second.
Now, I just want to let y'all know real quick, all right, while we get into Tim's interview. Tim is the 1980s version of Future, all right? I want to let y'all know that. Tim is the 1980 version of Future. Just throwing it out there, all right? Just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there. He talking about he got the members only jacket on. But Tim, yeah, he is the 1980 version of Future. Just letting y'all know.
Second baby. The third was
Mustafa. He was the third.
That was by another lady?
Mm-hmm. Mrs. Ward. Yes, I go see him every now and then.
How old is he now?
He's 5, if I'm not mistaken. 504, 81.
And then the fourth one was
Simone. I only saw her twice. 2 times.
What happened to her?
It was a family problem. You know, the father don't want me to see the mother and all that. You know. So I got tired of running behind her and found me someone else. I didn't have to sweat it because I guess the father was taking care of them anyway, so.
How does it feel to have those
women?
No, kids.
Kids? Oh, well, you get to see, if it ain't one thing you've done, you like artwork, for instance. You look at your art, you say, this is something that I've done. Just like the carpentry, it's something that you've done. You can see what you've done. If anything, if you don't do nothing, you can see something, you know, what your life was, you know, it was to you.
So the kids are sort of artwork?
Well, not really, but you can, like they might grow up to be doctors or actors, you know, and you can say, well, look, that's my boy, or that's my girl, you know. Whereas, you know, there's some people that can't have children at all.
I always said, it ain't that hard to get a job. You go out there and look for a job, because I'm sick and tired of just laying back waiting for a welfare check. I said, this is not how I want to live the rest of my life. This is not the way I plan for my future to be.
Does it make you feel bad that you can't support your kids?
Yes.
How do they make it? Where do they get the money?
Well, the majority of them, the mother's on welfare, and welfare gives them the stipend for the month. So what I'm not doing, the government does.
What would happen if the government didn't?
This would be a big disaster, I guess, because you can't give something that you don't have. In order to give, you got to have for yourself.
You see, people out there watching are going to say, why didn't he think about that before he brought 6 kids into the world?
Well, mother had a choice. She could have had an abortion, or she could have kept the child. She decided the way that she wanted to have the child, so therefore, I guess it's not sweating her. I mean, it's not bothering.
You think it's her fault if she gets pregnant?
Well,
I mean, you fought her.
Well, maybe, maybe not. Like they say, mama, baby, papa, maybe. You know what I mean?
All right, so let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about that. Let's have the conversation about this, all right? Now, there are many men in the past and also in the modern day generation who have the same type of mentality, all right? Same type of mentality as Tim. They feel like this ultimately, the woman has the choice. She could either bring the life into the world or she could terminate the life. He said that it was up to her to choose what she wanted to do. She chose to keep the baby or babies. She chose to do that. And the reason why is because she wanted to have a baby. Just like the other younger girl. For them, having a child is a reward. It's a trophy for them. It's a benefit for them. They could go ahead and immediately rely on the system to take care of them. They could be on welfare. They're able to collect welfare, which is food stamps. They call it government checks or stipend back then, but now they call it TANF. That's what they call it. So they get all this, not to mention Medicaid too. So they get all these benefits. So this dude here probably had a conversation with her when they had the first child, had a conversation with her like, hey, hey, y'all already know me. Y'all already know that I'm an F-boy. I'm just going smashing. I don't want to be no father. I have no desire to be a father. All I desire is getting up in you. So what you going to do? Oh, yeah, I always wanted to have a child, so it don't matter if you're a father or not. I'm going to take care of mine, and you just a deadbeat dad. But you are the one who chose to sleep with this man. And also, since you are ultimately the one who controls whether or not life is going to be correct, life is going to be born or not through your womb, you have control whether you be on birth control or not. But you chose not to be on birth control. You chose not to be on birth control, and also you chose to do as well. Knowing good and well that once again, this dude wasn't qualified to be a father. And here's another thing that I want to point out too as well. Both of these two women, right? Another common thing that they have as well is that none of these dudes did not want to wife them up. None of these dudes did not want to wife them up. Why? Why did these dudes did not want to wife them? Why this dude did not want to marry them?
A week before their last baby is born, Alice came for what is only her fourth visit to the doctor during her pregnancy.
Yeah, I was very much worried, and I was kind of unhappy being pregnant. To know that I'm going to have a third child and I'm not doing so good with my two I have already.
Is that so? Come with me, please.
But as the months went by, I just had to deal with it, being pregnant and knowing that it's my child. I'm going to have a child, and I'm just going to have to support it the same way I supported them.
So you say, once again, you hear what she's saying? That she didn't say that it was our child. She said that it's my child. Remember what I said earlier when I addressed that?
Or do better if I can do better.
Is that the last one?
Well, I ain't gonna say that because I said that when I had my first one, then I had a second one. When I said that was my second one, and I had a third one. So I ain't gonna say that.
Did you think about birth control?
No, I didn't even think about birth control. I was afraid of birth control because I always heard that birth control give you cancer and all that stuff.
What about Timothy? Did you talk to him about taking precautions about being?
Yeah, I talked to him about being careful about, birth control.
But did he?
No, he wasn't with it. And sometimes I be.
Hold up, y'all. Hold up. Flag on the play. All right. Now her first excuse, I could kind of rock with the first excuse because back in that time, birth control was still in this, quote unquote, experimental phase. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't fully accurate as it is right now in the modern day. So I could kind of get her concern about that. You know what I'm saying? I could understand that. But the second part, when he was asking, well, did you talk to Tim about it? Did you tell him about using condoms and strapping up? Notice what she did. She laughed. The reason why she laughed is because she knew, once again, that having them condoms on is going to take away the feeling and the pleasure behind it. So, therefore, she didn't want him to wear the condom. But how the way she manipulated that situation, and this is me give my perspective about it. How the way she manipulated that situation is to give him the opportunity to choose. So if he chooses wrong and end up having a baby by her, guess whose fault it is? It's not her fault. It's his fault. That's why she did what she did. Because, once again, she wanted to have a baby. Not only that, she wanted to have babies. She wanted that. Because if that would be the case, if she didn't want to have a child, she would take every precaution available to prevent her from having a child, including making sure that dude strap up. But she didn't.
Like telling him leave me alone and so with. But every time I do that, when he's not with me, even that same day or the next day, I feel, lonely without him. Feel like, I just get angry and say them things. I don't really be meaning them. So.
Do you love him?
Yes, I love him.
Does he love you?
Yes, I think he loves me too.
How does a guy keep from falling into that trap?
All right. So what y'all think about Tim and Alex's story? So far, these two stories that we watch on, it seems very common, don't it? It seems very, very common in our modern day right now, right? Seems very common. Now, with Alice's story, in the end, they asked did she love him? She said she loved him, but guess the reason why? The reason why is because what she said earlier, before that. She said that she'd get so mad at him that she tell him to leave and never come back, but she started thinking about that, and then she started feeling lonely. So, question. Is it that she really loved him, or she just want him to be there just to satisfy her need or desire to not be alone? Yeah, that's true, PMP. That's true. That is true. Let's go to story 3.
That you described in that rap.
If you see everybody else robbing, man, and selling drugs, it takes a wise man to learn from another man's mistakes.
The adults got to set an example for the kids. If they see the adults do it, that's what they're going to do too, eventually.
Who would be an example?
My family, my mother.
His mom is Brenda Wardrick, 30 years old, the mother of 4 children by 3 different men. She has never been married. She raises her children alone in a daily tug of war with the street.
It's a battle. It's almost like...
So far, that is 3 women. 3 women in these stories, right? that have not been married, that these men did not want to marry them. So I asked the question once again, why? Why they do not want to be married? Why these men do not want to marry them? Why do these men don't want to be committed to the woman that they're choosing to impregnate and have children by?
And I think most parents feel the same way. You fear for your children leaving home. They can leave out and walk right across the street and trouble can get in their way.
What's the hardest thing about being a single parent?
It's hard, understanding them sometimes. And they have difficulties understanding me because I'm a young parent and sometimes they act like I'm their sister as well as their mother,
What do your children mean to you?
My friends, they're my world, When I wake up in the morning, see, if you don't have a husband or a man with you, your children are always there. So you have someone to call your own. So your children will smile when nobody else will.
Do you want your kids to get married?
Sure. Especially my daughter. My boy.
Okay. Well, once again, y'all, listen to her response. Remember what I said earlier about this. Okay? The reason why these women want to have children is because they can easily control their children. That's why she said the response that I can have something to call what? My own. Not her and the children's fathers, but her own. Notice she said that. So in other words, once again, she could control the narrative for her children. She could raise them with whatever narrative or whatever story that she wants them to have. She can do that. She can control them like that. But with a grown man, the most she could do with a grown man is manipulate them. And that's it. That's if she's successful with it. But at the end of the day, even through her manipulation tactics, or as Trey said, black woman tactics, even with that, she knows that at the end of the day, that can only go so far to the point where it pushes the man out of the household. That it only goes so far. But also, I want y'all to pay attention to this story too. The reason why I want y'all to pay attention to this story, because this story is showing y'all how the way single mothers use their older son to fulfill the role as the husband.
Boys, they'd probably be, what you call it? Freelancers.
Freelancers?
Yeah.
Like their fathers?
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know.
That does seem to be the pattern.
Yeah.
You won't find in these neighborhoods the primetime family of Bill Cosby. There are successful, strong black families in America, families that affirm parental authority and the values of discipline, work, and achievement. But not many live around here. Still, not every girl in the inner city ends up a teenage mother. Not every young man goes into crime. There are people who have stayed here to fight for these kids. They're outnumbered by the con artists and pushers. It's not an even match, but they stand for morality and authority and give some of these kids a bracing dose of unsentimental love.
All right, so this next story that's happening right now, they're going to shift the focus on people who actually care about not only the single mothers, but also the actual children that these single mothers have, okay? So this next story is going to tell the story of a man. This dude, he's a police officer, a detective. He's a detective. And so he spends his time helping the inner city youth. All right. So pay attention to his story.
When their own fathers are missing, kids need someone else to stand in, to practice damage control lest the street take over. For these kids, that someone is Detective Shahid Jackson of the Newark Police. He came by his street smarts the hard way.
Well, I came up out of the streets, so I know how to get around a lot of that stuff. And I guess the older you get, the more you learn. I was fortunate enough coming up that I never got caught. And I grew out of the streets, but yet I still have some of the street in me.
There was a time when he wasn't sure he would make it off those streets. He was an unmarried father at 18, and he had his share of troubles. But he was raised by two parents. His father was a Baptist minister, and they pushed him to make something of himself.
On Sunday morning on my block, you would see each family almost coming out going to church. You know, you don't see that anymore, the family unity.
When he was 21, Shahid Jackson joined the police department. Although he handled security for us while we were in Newark, his beat is the kids of the neighborhood who look up to him as if he were their father.
Now, before we go any further, let me ask this question to y'all, okay? Let me ask y'all this question. Is the black family stronger with a two-parent household, or is it stronger with a single-parent household? Once again, is the black family, is it stronger with a two-parent household, or is it stronger with a single-parent household? Drop your answers in the chat. We're going to talk about it real quick. I'm going to give you my perspective. Drop it in the chat, and we're going to talk about it. While y'all dropping in the chat, I'm going to throw some music for y'all real quick. I don't like that music. I don't like that music. All right. This might throw your answer in the chat music.
It's going to cost you now. Crypto offshore the cloud. Goes to Earl Simmons to the serve the crowd. I can feel it, yeah, you nervous now. Don't sweat the tension, this is how the springboard resistance. Condition and go the distance. Took a poll cause I know the statistics. Infiltrate the rooftop, the back door and the entrance. Your ego will undermine the process. About to touch $1 billion off a concept. But now it's the Jeep off the side bet. Took the roof off, give them context. Cost you for the status. Nothing really matters at all. Rummage through the damage. How do you see savage at all? Cost you for the status. Nothing really matters at all.
All right, so let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Let's see. PMP. He says a two-parent structure. He said a two-parent structure. I'm going to go back to your other comment in a minute, Matt. But Matt, he said it could be stronger either way, depends on the teaching. Okay. All right. The PLP, he rebutted back, and he said it's stronger with two parents because raising children requires time and finances that single parents would struggle to maintain. Okay. Gotcha. All right. For sure. Now, here's Urban's perspective about it, all right? Here's Urban perspective. I believe that a household can be strong with a two-parent household, but, however, it depends on the parent. Because also, keep in mind this, even though you can have a two-parent household, if both of them parents, the mother and father, is not sync with each other, if they're not sync with each other, if they're not on one accord with each other, then it's as though as that them children don't have parents at all in their household because of the psychological impact of the household. Would y'all agree to that? Would y'all agree to that? Same thing with a single parent household, all right? I also believe that a single parent household can be successful as well too. It depends, once again, on that parent, the mother and the father, wherever case may be, where if they it depends if they are co-parent together, they're co-parenting together. If they're co-parent together, then it's just as successful, right? But if they're not co-parenting together, then once again it deals with the psychological impact of their child or children. That's where it boils down to. Let's say that the father is not in the household, like what we're watching right now. Would child be successful? I say they'll still be successful, but it depends on the mother. If the mother is teaching the children core values, teaching them to the best of her ability, that teaching the best of her ability that her sons could grow up to be valuable men who could be productive citizens, then yeah, it's very possible. Teaching her daughters that they could be productive citizens as well, yes, it's very possible. Teaching the children that, hey, even though your father is not in your household, that doesn't mean that you be disrespectful to your father. You still treat them with respect, even though they're not in your life. Then it creates a greater success instead of creating resentment. Same thing if it's a one single father take care of the children and the mother is not in the household, or the mother is quote unquote a deadbeat. Same scenario. So it's very possible that it can happen, but it does depends on the psychological impact of the parents. That's where it boils down to. The success of the family, especially the black family, boils down to the psychological impact of the parents. Period. So let's go and get. Hold on. Let me put PNP coming up here. Then we're gonna jump deeper into it. And I see you, Miss Williams, sit up here laughing at my song. That song was lit. That song was lit. Now, PNP, you said most single parents household, the parents have to work 2 jobs and don't have time to monitor the children's influence. If a single parent can move in with the grandparents, then it's possible to work it out. I understand that, bro. I understand that. And to be honest with you, when I think about it, that response is pretty valid, bro. And I get it. But also, the response goes along to what I was saying, that it does depends on the parent, period. Where they at psychologically, where they at. I digs. Or did you mean I digress? All right, so let's go ahead and hear this cop story.
What he can do with them here, he knows, is just warm up for what they face out of the ring and out of his reach.
Going for the title. Work, time!
What have you learned about these kids?
That they need somebody to love them. You know, they identify with us because we don't, excuse the expression, we don't take any crap. You know, you come in here, you got to be disciplined, you got to, follow the rules and regulations, because when they go out here and deal with life, they're going to have to follow rules and regulations in life.
Self-control and self-esteem, far more important than a good left hook. That's his message to kids like Bernard Wardwick. He's been coaching Bernard for the past 4 years.
It's like a big brother father image with me and Bernard. There's been times when he's gotten me mad and I've spanked him, you know, and his mother knows I'll spank him and he knows I'll spank him. And sometimes that's what a kid needs to know. Freedom is a lot of times destruction. The more freedom a man has, a lot of times he'll just self-destruct. So I try to, you know, keep him in a little cage. Or keep him in my arms.
Somebody has to say no.
Yeah, somebody has to say, no, you cannot do this.
A lot of these kids grew up with nobody saying no.
Right.
Do you think it's important for them to have men around?
Yeah, I think, you know, if you have a one-parent family and it's a mother, she cannot teach you all of the things that a man can teach a son. There's no way.
So where do they learn the routine techniques of just daily work and living? They don't.
Unless they get it from their parents, they'll get it from the streets.
How do these kids on the street?
Now, he said something that's very important that I want to bring to your attention, okay? And ladies, you're tuned in and you're listening to this. I want you to pay close attention to what Urban is about to say, okay? All right? He made a point that someone had to tell them no. Someone had to tell them no. Why is it important to tell a child no? Why is it important? The reason why I'm also going to point this out, and I'm pointing the finger at the ladies or the women, is because I actually had, me and my wife actually had this conversation about this, all right? We had actually had an interesting conversation about this. What I have found out, what I have observed is that women have a very hard time telling their children no. They have a very hard time telling their children no. They will allow their child to speak to them in a disrespectful way without checking them and telling them no. And I'm talking about, and I'm especially talking about the modern day women, especially the modern day women. They will allow their child or children to talk to them disrespectfully. Whenever the child asks for something, instead of them just telling them no and explain to them the reason why you tell them no, they will allow their child to manipulate them and they just go ahead with it. They will go ahead with it. Now, ladies, I already know the answer to this, and I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna give y'all an answer to this, but I want to ask y'all this. Why is it so difficult for y'all to tell your child no? Why do y'all have a hard time telling your child no? But here's the interesting part about this too. And I'm once again, I'm gonna reveal to y'all psychologically why. But here's the interesting part about this too. Women, y'all are weak to tell your children no, but however, when it deals with the child's father or when it deals with a man, you are quick to tell him no. Why? Acquire minds want to know. You're quick to tell him no, but you're weak to tell your children no. Why? Why? While y'all thinking about that, post PNP coming up here. Yeah, that's true, bro. That is true. Yeah, big facts, bro. Big facts. Say women want to be viewed as the better parents, so they try to win the child over by being their friends. We're going to address that too, PNP. We'll address that. The man say they use that dumbass excuse. I want them to have what I didn't have. Interesting too. Very interesting. But that only works until they become teenagers. Then they call in the father for help because they create a monster. That is facts as well, bro. That is facts. That's facts. That is facts. So, Urban is going to tell y'all, ladies, the reason why y'all have a hard time telling y'all children no. I don't know if y'all going to like it, but I'm going to be real with y'all. This is what I observed through the behavior of it all right? The reason why y'all have a hard time telling your children no is because of what I was talking about earlier through this. Remember when I made the statement earlier? I said that women tend to love conditionally, but the man loves unconditionally. Then I said the only exception to the rule for the lady is when it comes to their children. They will love their children unconditionally. They will love their children unconditionally. Therefore, no matter what, they feel in their mind that since they're loving their child unconditionally, they're feeling in their mind that whatever the child needs or they must fulfill it, period. Whatever the child need is, they must fulfill it, period. Because they love that child unconditionally. This is the reason why when that child growing up and there's no father in the household to tell them no, this is the reason why they allow that child to do that. Because in their mind, they are loving their child so unconditionally that they're not thinking logically that no, it's not hurting them. So in other words, they feeling that if I tell my child no, my child is not going to love me as conditionally as I love them. Say I'm lying about it. Say I'm lying about it. So that's why it's difficult for them to tell their child no. They'll let their mama, can I have this? Sure. Mama, can I have that? Sure. Women think emotionally whenever they make their decisions. 90% of the time, they're making they decisions based off their emotions. Then the rest of the 10% of it is based off a logic. 90% of the time, they're making their decisions based on emotions, and the rest of the 10% is based off of logic. But however, the father is pragmatic. So in other words, the father make his decisions based on logic and reasoning. Then he use the remainder his 10% based on emotions. So therefore, that's why the father would tell their child no. Now, am I lying about this? Me as being a father, right? I would tell my children no, not because I can't afford to do it or not because I don't want to do it. I tell them no just because I'm saying no. Why do you do that, Urban? Why do you tell them no just to be saying no? The reason why I do that is because I don't want them to get so used to receiving the yes. Because I know and understand that Once when they get out and be grown adults, that's all they are going to receive. It's the no. The world is going to tell them no. So I don't want them to have this entitlement mentality. Going out into the world thinking that they have a entitlement mentality. Going into the workforce with an entitlement mentality. Thinking that they just deserve everything. When no, I don't care if you work hard to get it. There are some things that you just not going to get. Period. So that's why I tell them no. That's why I say no. Because I'm preparing them to learn to go out to that world. And once when you go out to the world, you're going to receive no. You're going to receive it. And I want you to handle that. I want you, and that's the other part about it too that I'm teaching them is that not only I'm telling you no, but I'm teaching you how to deal with it and handle it. So in other words, I am teaching them about rejection. Especially with my sons and my daughters. Now, the sons, they are already going to go into the world and they are already going to be dealing with rejection. They deal with that right now. As they growing up, they deal with rejection. But however, women deal with rejection lesser than men deal with rejection. Women tend to think, even while they're girls, they tend to think that the whole entire world is their oyster. Like everything in the world belongs to them when it don't. They think like that. Therefore, that's why they have this whole fantasy thinking that when a man provides to them, they thinking that when they hear the word a man supposed to provide, that they thinking the man supposed to give them everything. Even things that a man can't possibly give them, they think they're supposed to do it. Financial security, psychological security, protection, investment, a seed, a generation of the generation, mental support, to heaven, hell, the stars, the moons, the clouds, all these different things. All these different things. So they grow up having an entitlement mentality. Therefore, when they get older, and the evidence of this is when they start entering into adult relationships with this entitlement mentality. They enter into this relationship, and this goes to what Urban is telling y'all. See, y'all think I'm lying about this. This goes into what Urban is talking about, where Urban says that women tend to love conditionally, while a man tends to love unconditionally. They enter into that, even into the relationship with a conditional mentality. That you got to do this, and that. This is the reason why, even with modern day women, this is the reason why, even with modern day women, what do women tend to do when they're looking for a man? They look to see if the man is taller than them. They look to see if the man has a certain shoe size. They look to see if he dressed well. They look to see if he smell good. They look to see if his teeth is clean. Am I lying about this? Then if you pass that part, the next part is, let's see if he's going to say a certain thing to me that's going to impress me with this entitlement mentality. Let's see what he's going to say to me that's going to impress me. I mean, I know I ain't lying, bro. I know I ain't the only one who observed this. This is what they do. This is the behavior behind it. So like I say, this is the reason why me as a father, I teach my children that. I teach them that. And yes, you're right. You're right about this, Matt. You're right. In other words, what I'm teaching them to do is that certain things you have to earn it, but here's the caveat about that, Matt. Even though certain things you can earn, sometimes it's just not meant for you to have, period. Sometimes it's just not meant for you to have. Even the universe itself is not going to allow you to have it. The universe itself is not going to even allow you to have it. So why not, being as a parent, teach them that, hey, even though it's possible, even though it's achievable, it just may not be meant for you to have it. It just is what it is. So therefore, that's why I teach them that. That's why I show them that. But here's the question. How many of us as parents is also doing the same thing with y'all children? Teaching them the same exact thing. Especially being fathers, or especially being mothers. How many of y'all were doing the same exact things? You know the funny part about that on PFP, while you talking about the PlayStation 5, one of my sons, he actually said that he wanted a PlayStation 5. And guess what I told him? I looked at him crazy because he already got a Xbox One, One X, whatever you call it. I'm like, so why you need that? Yep, true. Teach them about the value of money early. Facts. And your delayed gratification, I agree with you on that too, PMP too. Facts. All facts. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm telling you, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, that's exactly what I tell them. I don't just tell them no without explaining the reason why. I don't tell them that. I know they'll say no without giving a reason why, because yeah, that's going to want to develop a behavioral resentment. It's going to develop a behavior that, well, I'm going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing it. I'm going to figure out the reason why. But when I tell them no, I tell them the reason why no. I'll be straight transparent and tell them. I like, look, the reason why I'm telling you no is because I just don't want you to have that right now, because that is something you don't need at the moment. Case in point, my own daughter today, she came in today. And then this is why this is why I say that women are master manipulators, right? So my daughter had came in today, right? My oldest daughter, she came in today. She gonna wait till I just wake up and all this stuff. Knowing good and well, I'm just now waking up in my mind. It's not at 100%, right? So she came in. She like, Daddy, can I talk to you about something? I like, yeah, you talk to me. Well, what's up? She like, Daddy, I know that and she tried to let on real thick too. She said, Daddy, I know that being a father is hard, and I know being a father is very hard work. And Daddy, I appreciate you doing your very best of being a father. I really do, and I love you, Daddy. But I just want to let you know that the game that you said that you was going to give me for Christmas, you haven't got it yet. It is way past Christmas time. So, I'm not saying this, to be rude or anything like that, but I'm just reminding you that you haven't got it for me yet. I had looked at her and I smiled at her. I shook my head. Then I told her, I like her. I like, you know what? It is true. You are right. Being a father, it is tough being a father. You know, I agree with you on that. But however, the reason why I haven't got the game. Oh, she said this too. She said when being a father, sometimes when you be a father, you end up forgetting things too. I forgot she said that. So I had told her, I told her, like, yeah, that's true. Then I told her, like, nah, look, I haven't forgot about that at all. No, I haven't forgot about it. The reason why I haven't gotten it from you, gotten it, that game for you yet, is because there have been things way more important than that game that I've been taking care of. That's the reason why I haven't got it for you. I'm just being honest with you. I haven't forgot about you. I haven't even forgot about that game. But there's been other things that have been way more important that I've been taking care of. With that being said, that does not mean that I'm not going to do it. One thing you know about me is that when I say something, guarantee that I'm going to do it. Sometimes it may not happen when you want it to happen, but guarantee it's going to happen. And that's why I told her. That's why I told her. And she's like, okay, Daddy, I love you. Bye-bye. And walked out the room. And I just shook my head at her. You old master manipulator, you. Didn't work. Nobody ain't selling one to get the other. Yeah, ain't that something? She said her try to want to manipulate me, bro. Didn't work. Didn't work at all. Did not work at all. What time is it? 9:25? Yeah, we could go through this story right quick. There's something else I want to show y'all too.
Streets make it. He could either be a stick-up man if he stays in the streets. He could be a mugger. He could be a drug dealer. There's so many different things. Like you get a kid who's a good boxer, and a drug dealer may say, hey, you want to make so much money a day? Just make sure nobody stick up my man here. He becomes a soldier for the drug dealer. Or a strong arm, you know. Helping to protect the drug dealer. Helping to protect him. Because if he can make $100 a day or $60 a day just standing there watching something, and, you know, he does it. That's the battle that you got to deal with. You know, that's the war, to try to convince them that stuff isn't, in the streets, isn't what's in their best interest. Does it worry you that Bernard could fall into that? I think he could go either way, but I think if he does, it'll be something that'll really hurt me, so I don't think I'll let him go. You know, he's like a son to me. What do you think's ahead for kids like Timothy and Alessandra? It's going to be rough. It's like hell where they live. And Alice is sweet as hell, but she loves Timothy. I would say if Alice had a husband that was strong, she could do something with her life. Is a kid like Timothy, what happens to a kid like that down the road? He's like a guy on a trip without a road map. Timothy's just out there. Timothy doesn't know which way he wants to go, what he wants to do. Timothy is a guy with great talent. As far as art, the kid could draw anything. But Timothy is a ladies' man. Is that a point of pride with him? Accomplishment? To him, I would imagine, yeah, it's an accomplishment. Where does he get any money, Shahid? He doesn't work. He told me he hadn't had a job in 2 years. Oh, Alice gets her assistance, I imagine. Welfare? Yeah, welfare and stuff. And that happened a lot? The mother gets
what's up, Trey?
Assistance and helps the guy on the side? Oh, I don't know if you would say they help him, but, you know, it's a lot of guys that I know that just goes around looking for welfare mothers. And they may have 6 of them like that and get a little piece of money out of each of them. That's their job. You know, that's their hustle. What do you think about welfare? Welfare, to me, some people need it. You know, I'll be for real. Some people really actually need it. And then others take advantage of it.
Sandra Alice told me yesterday that she thinks welfare has made her lazy.
Yeah, because it's there. You know that your food is going to be there every month because with the welfare finance come food stamps. Then you get Medicaid to cover your medical expenses. Welfare is doing everything. You're married to welfare, a lot of the women's. They're more married to welfare than the guys laying in the bed next to them because he's just a physical thing. The whole backbone of the family is coming out of downtown or out of uptown offices.
Government offices?
Yeah.
Does this cycle of dependency, I mean, what does it do to the values of these kids?
Oh, they see it as a game. You know, somebody owes me something. Somebody's going to take care of me. It's not the self-esteem.
What do you think's ahead for kids like Timothy?
Maybe he'll get shot or he'll pick up a gun to protect himself and he'll get shot by a police officer pulling it, or he'll get arrested. Some girls think it's cute walking down the street pregnant.
Don't you ever get discouraged?
I get discouraged. I lock people up. I get in fights.
Don't you ever want to walk away from them?
Yes, but I feel like so many people has done that. To me, I hate to lose. I hate to lose, and I never would have started working with kids if I didn't, you know, for me to walk away from it and feel like I lost.
All right, so there's something that this detective mentioned about. Let's have a conversation about this, okay? How do y'all feel about the welfare system, both past and present? Do y'all believe that the welfare system is beneficial to Black America? Do y'all believe that Black America still needs the welfare system? Do you believe that the welfare system is broken? Do you believe that we need to get rid of the welfare system altogether? Well, what do y'all think? Drop y'all comments in the chat. Well, what do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about the welfare system? What do y'all think about the welfare system? Give y'all some thinking music.
Yeah, been to hell and I never wanna go back. I've been told that hope could be just what my goal lack. I ain't got no time for these cold cats. A new roadmap, kick the old facts. They got no class while I hold tack. My heart grown black, so I close that. And with a smoke clap, that's a old snap. They get broke stat, but where the hope at? And where my growth at? Been a slow stack. Rap so deep, get a soul tap. I ain't catch no sleep, that's a throwback. I say no at, yo, let me hold that. On the queen knot, they got no grasp. And when I hold back, I get sold that. Same old Kodak with no flash. I mean no light, I mean no light. The pain cut so deep and with no knife. Ain't got no type, keep it roll tight. Been a slow fight, but I know right from wrong. When I see it, yeah, I'm so nice. Wanna see me folk, but I won't, oh spite. Hearing all that lifting with no bite. I said lift that grip, get your soul right. Tryna unlearn and relearn things. I'm done getting trapped up in the same game. Moving up no matter what they may say. Tryna lead the way, tryna see grace. Tryna unlearn and relearn things. So done getting wrapped up in the same game. Moving up no matter what they may say. Tryna lead the way, tryna be great.
All right. So, interesting question. Let's see what y'all got. Let's see what y'all got. Move this thing out the way. Alrighty. Now, Matt, he said that nope, It have a benefit, and we still haven't learned from that in 50 years. So Matt say. But Mark, on the other hand, he said that it's good if it's used in the right way. Okay, all right. PMP, he said, I can't say being where I'm from, but it needs revamping so that it encourages people to lift themselves out of the predicament. The way it is here is that it's penalized for getting a full-time job. It's the same as like here. It's the same as like in the United States, how it is in Canada, PMP. It's the same as that way. Trust me, it is. Yeah, I looked at it. I looked at it when I'm mad. I saw it. I saw it. They say he agree with it. Agree with Mark. Now, Mark, let me ask you a question, bro. You said it's good if it's used in the right way. So let me ask you a question. What is considered the right way? What is considered the right way? What is considered the right way? Yeah, while y'all doing that, let me switch out real quick. Switch this out. All right, working your way off after needing it. Okay, gotcha. The Marcus said poor people getting back on their feet. Okay, gotcha. So in other words, both of y'all are saying the right way is basically utilizing it for a certain situation or certain moment, right? So it can help you to be a productive citizen, right? If that be the case, then I agree with you on that. I agree. Now, me being a me being a social worker for the state of Texas, right? One of my responsibilities one of my responsibilities, at one point in time, one of my main responsibilities was to see if people qualify for welfare assistance. That's one of my main responsibilities. That was one of my main jobs. When I started off working at the state. When I started working at the state like 5 years ago, that's what I started off doing. Yeah, I was the worker to determine. I was the worker to determine if you qualify for welfare assistance or not. And within the state of Texas, we have a program which is known as modern day. We call it. It's not called food stamps no more. They call it SNAP. That's what they call it. I was that person to see if you qualify for SNAP. I was that person to see if you qualify for TANF, which is back in the day they call it the government stipend, where they give you money. I was that person to see if you qualify for Medicaid. So I through my tenure of dealing with that, I dealt with a lot of people who's coming into my office trying to see if they qualify for these programs. I dealt with a lot of people, a lot of them, and through my experience, there were people that were absolutely there because they seriously needed. They had a situation they seriously needed, And there's other people who didn't need it at all. So I had to go and determine if they could qualify for these benefits. Some people, they end up getting approved for the benefits based on the information, based on the stuff that I had to research about them to see if they qualify for. There are other people that didn't qualify for it at all. And one of the toughest things that, I'm telling y'all this too, one of the toughest things that I ever had to deal with is denying a person for benefits knowing their situation. Knowing that they're not trying to, quote unquote, get over the system or try to utilize the system. Knowing that they are in a serious predicament and they just looking for some type of resource, some type of hope that will at least get them to the next point or the next level. And I had to deny them. Not because of me denying them. Not because I'm just being cold-hearted denying people. I never deny people nor approve people based on my feelings. I only approve or deny people based on the system. Based on the system standards. That's it. And so if the system determines that they approve, then they're approved. If the system determines that they're not approved, then they're not approved. And there ain't nothing I can do about that. And there was times where I knew, and it hurt me to the core. It hurt me to the core. But then again, there's others where I knew that I knew that they was about their life being in the system. And guess what? Stuff caught up to them too. Yeah, that's when I was doing that type of work. So I seen a whole lot dealing with that type of work. So therefore, through my experience and through my 10-year experience of dealing with that, I believe that the system is very beneficial to those who really, really need it, who's really in a situation really need it. But it should only be a temporary thing. It should only be temporarily just to help them get to the next point of where they need to be at. Now, I'm not going to lie to y'all. The system is flawed. It's not perfect at all. It's not. Through my years of dealing with it, trust me, it is not perfect at all. It is not. So yeah, there are a lot of rooms for improvement with the system itself. Absolutely it is. But at the same time, for us, the other people who are taking advantage of the system, that's what makes it so hard for the ones who actually really need it. That's what makes it so hard. So yeah, I agree with y'all. It can be very beneficial if you utilize it properly for what it's meant to be used for. Not to make you lazy. Not to make it where you just relying on receiving a tentative check every month. Not to rely on just receiving child support every single month. So yeah, I done seen it firsthand. I've seen it in my state. I done seen it, and I done work with people and everything. And here's another thing too that I want to share with y'all. As y'all know, even though I could be a as a money boy call me, even though I could be a quote unquote dick at times, but I truly care about people. I really do. I really do. So, with that being said, what I have personally did through my tenure of dealing with that is that if the system were to deny them a certain type of services or benefits, what I have done personally is to go deeper and find out other resources or other programs that they could possibly qualify for besides state level benefits. What do you mean by that? I had a full list of nonprofit organizations that will help them out, that I knew about, that I knew the people personally. There are so many nonprofit organizations out there that'll help. There are so many people who are philanthropists that are out there as well that want to help, like inner city youths or people who are in the situation. I had a whole list of them where I like, hey, even though that the system deny you, hey, let me give you the number of this resource. Let me give you the number of this resource that you can look out and stuff. You may possibly qualify. I'm not going to say that it's 100%, but hey, at least try it out and see. So I make sure that I had additional resources to help them. And that's something I personally did. Because I honestly care about people. Yeah, because, I just care about people, period. I ain't blocking them checks. I hate them PNP. But then again, I am, if you think about it. Because if I'm going through there and trying to determine if they qualify, and technically that's what I'm doing. Well, now, let me reverse it again. No, it's not me. It's the system. It's the system, God darn it. It's the system. Enjoy. Sis. She said pain. All right, y'all. Well, we're within the last 15 minutes of my show, right? So I want to present to y'all the after show of this. I was going to finish showing y'all the full documentary, but I'm not because I'm in the last 15 minutes of this. So I want to show y'all the after show of this. All right. So on this after show video, right, the same person who did the interview, right, he ended up having the same discussion with actual community leaders, okay? So I want to present this video to y'all, and I want to get y'all perspective about what these community leaders is talking about, all right? One of the community leaders y'all are very familiar with, guaranteed. So let's see what they got to say.
So far, we've listened this evening to the people who are actually living the experience that was the subject of this broadcast. Now we want to hear from some people who come at the issue from different angles. With me are the Reverend Jesse Jackson, Charles Knox, who was born and reared in Newark and is now Director of Police there. He introduced me to Shaheed Jackson, whom Director Knox personally assigned to the police athletic program in Newark. Eleanor Holmes Norton, who once chaired the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission and is now Professor of Law at Georgetown University.
No, when I first seen her, I swear that there was a guy. I ain't lying. I was like, that's a woman? I ain't lying. I thought that was a guy for real. Thought that was a guy wearing lipstick. I ain't lying. And she got that. I'm a PhD lip too, don't she? That I'm a professor and you can't tell me nothing.
And Dr. Glenn Lowry, Professor of Political Economy at the John F. Kennedy School of Government at Harvard and a member of the Council for a Black Economic Agenda. Dr. Lowry, as you listened to those voices, what went through your mind?
Well, I was deeply moved. I was impressed with what I perceived to be the great strengths of character in some of the individuals. I was dismayed at what I perceive as the profundity of the problem that confronts us. I was encouraged by some of what I heard said, particularly the emphasis on values. The strength and the helping hand that I saw coming from some people indigenous to that community made me hopeful about the possibilities that we can, even at this late date, still make a significant dent.
Hey, Mark, I know, right? So I knew you was going to recognize Jesse Jackson. They call him the Great Unhope. What have Jesse Jackson did to the black America? What have he done to help the black America? I cannot think of anything that Jesse Jackson had done to help black America, to be honest with you, other than his name.
In the problem. But realistically, I was also chastened by the sense of the fact that we've got an awfully long way to go. It'll be decades before we can actually turn the circumstance around.
What do you think, each of you, what do you think can be done to break the cycle of children, born of children, born of children? The third generation, as you saw in the film, of teenage mothers in one family. What can be done practically, specifically?
This is not like any other social problem that has ever arisen in this country. This is not like unemployment. This is not like teenage delinquency. This is not even like children who can't read. This is a conundrum. This is a well. I want to get to it. I want to describe the beast before I try to get to the remedy. When you have a phenomenon as complex as to have cut to the very
Hey. Hey, that hey, that white dude said, "Ma'am, you just using words." I wish I had that drop like Money Boy. Ma'am, you just using words. I'm trying to get to it. Just let me get to it. Well, stop just using big words to make yourself sound intelligent and get to your point. Boy, I tell you, these PhD women are something else.
heart of the most basic institution in society, the family, you have got a real problem on your hands. There's no question that the mobilization, internal mobilization of the black community, as if their life depended on it, because it does, is the first priority. But we've got to understand as well what the context is. The social and moral context goes against what is happening in the United States today. Sex and crime and undisciplined forces surround the black community, do not emanate from it.
Comes in through the tube every night.
Comes in through the tube, is piped in 1,000 different ways. So that the black community is going against the grain, but go against the grain it must. It's got to do that itself. But again, in order to avoid the cynical connotation that this can be done in a self-made fashion without, for example, the jobs for the teenage boys to go to, is to create the possibility of an even worse situation. One thing I think we who prescribe remedies forget, and that is that virtually none of us are truly self-made people. Somewhere you can find something that made a difference. When you say to a boy that's 15, the last boy, for example, we don't know which way he's going. If that boy is born of, let us say, a functionally illiterate mother, grows up surrounded by a pathological environment, and we say, hey, go out there and make something of yourself, we are in effect saying, recreate yourself in a way that nobody I personally know has done. At the very least, society has some responsibility.
This is not an easy society in which to pull oneself up by one's bootstraps.
Not any longer.
No, it's not.
My point is on this issue of sex education and...
Oh, Lord, here comes Jesse Jackson. Here come the Rev. But what do y'all think about her response? Did she, so far, her response, did she make a valid argument? Was her argument valid? Because I'm going to be honest with y'all. Her response really didn't make any sense to me. It just sounded like she was just using a whole lot of big words. It just sounded like she was intelligent. That's what it sounded like to me. And she really didn't make a point at all. But I digress. Come on, Reverend Jesse Jackson, what you got to say?
Sex discipline and self-respect. There must be a massive countercultural movement by no less than the people who have the ears of the masses of our young people. The first generation by age 15 has watched 18,000 hours of television, about 700,000 murders, 20-odd thousand hours of radio, less than 11,000 hours of school, and less than 3,000 hours of church. So who has the maximum access to our children's minds? Mass media has more access and makes a greater impression than home, church, and school combined. That's a kind of centralization of our society for very central messages being fed in, saying that babies making babies. An idea of a girl thinking that being pregnant is a beautiful profile as a sense of being, of looking all right. That says that the decadence has hit a point where we must, en masse, join hands and stop finger pointing and go another way.
It's not only that, it's the music. You know, even our music. Every song.
Why is everything the music? These fools, this why I wanted to show y'all. These are our community leaders back in the day, all right? He said, yeah, the music too. If they stop you listening to that shucking jiving music, listen to that hippity-hoppity music, then none of these women be wanting to get pregnant out of wedlock. Told y'all about this hippity-hoppity music. Okay. Okay. Now here's another thing too that I want to bring to y'all attention. J.C. Jackson was making the argument about these women, and they making it pretty much making it an accolade for them to have children. Now that part, I don't agree with him on that part. The reason why is because having a child is a beautiful experience. It is beautiful. That is part of nature. That is part of the divine creation process. Everything about it is beautiful. It is nothing wrong with that. The problem is the problem isn't them having children. The problem is the psychological behavior or the mentality of them having children. That's the problem. So in other words, just like we've seen in the documentary, these women didn't want to have children because they tried to create a nuclear family. They was doing it because it was just cool for them to do it. That's why they was doing it. Others was having children is because their mom and their mom's mom and their mom's mom throughout the generation was teaching them that once when you have a child without the father, you are securing the bag for the government to help you. That's it. And that's where the problem is at. So yeah, having a child is not this horrible demonic thing. And it tripped me out for this dude being a reverend like he is to say something like that. It's not this horrible demonic thing. It is a beautiful thing when it's done correctly. Yep, facts. Come on, dude. Talking about the music. Let's go.
Song you hear, there's no real message except more sex, more lowering of your values and morals. You can't even hear a good song. Song has a good beat, but you listen to the words are outrageous.
Director Knox, you heard in the beginning of the broadcast some of the young women say male figures are not essential. They don't think their children need a father. Did that ring true to you on the basis of your experience with these kids?
I think that a family means a husband and a wife. Yeah. So I'm very, very perplexed, to hear females say that they don't believe that they need to have a man around.
I think people say what they have to say. These women don't have any prospect of marriage, and so they have rationalized their lives the way they see them. We saw women who are surrounded by other women in the prior generation who also had no husbands. And this has become, therefore, intergenerational and expectable, and thus they say what indeed turns out to be, at least for them, quite realistic.
That's one concern. Secondly, there are some areas in there of moral degeneracy. The young man with all of the babies without any sense of responsibility, that is moral degeneracy, and it's not genetic, it's environmental, and therefore we have some obligation to speak of the need for moral regeneration.
The danger is that in the process of giving this problem...
Actually, that point that Jesse Jackson made, that is actually true. Moral degeneracy, that is true. Basically what it is it's basically not accepting the responsible moral obligation that you correct. That's basically what it's talking about. Long story short. So what he's saying that is true. That's a sociological behavior.
Which I think is a discrete and identifiable problem. Too much attention, we will stigmatize the individuals involved, and we will adversely affect the way in which the rest of the American society perceives this problem. The danger is well-founded because there are people in this society who would make use of these kinds of images in order to legitimize certain mean-spirited policy inclinations that they have and not deal seriously with the problem. But what I want to say is that there is a discrete, identifiable inner-city context, such as that described in Newark, which is repeated in many, many other communities around the country, and which is in some ways different from, not better or worse, but different in its particulars from the situation of West Virginia or of rural Arkansas or whatever. We could see in this film the importance of peers, the importance of what might be called the local culture, the values and the interactions between people that were happening in that particular context.
You know, Bill, the reason I keep trying to keep this issue broader than just a black situation, for the reason that Dr. Lyra said it. I remember once speaking in a Washington, D.C. school about the impact of drugs and liquor and babies making babies and violence. And I challenged the youth in that environment to make a choice, as it were, the youth to choose hope over dope and to give life a chance. And those who could really hear me with their inner ear to come forward. Of 600, about 300 came forward having experimented with some form of drugs. And it was traumatic to see that many boys and girls come forward. And so next day I went to Montgomery County and then went to the Latin school just outside of Harvard there in Boston. And when white children came forward in even greater numbers, it shifted from they got a problem to we got a problem.
I said in the beginning of the program that white families are in trouble too. The single-parent family is twice as common in the country as it was 20 years ago.
All right, before this white dude give his whole little he feels to get ready to give his whole Kevin Samuel spin on this, all right? Because he figured ready to throw some data real quick, all right? But before he get to that, I want to point out something to y'all, all right? I want to point this out. I want to point this out to y'all real quick, Ed. I don't know. Jesse probably did. Mark, I don't know. I don't know. All right. So let me point something out to y'all, all right? Earlier today, and I know that it went over a lot of people's head when I presented, but earlier today, I had showed a brief animated video about the difference between the house Negroes and the field Negroes, all right? It was a method to Urban's madness, why I presented that video. It didn't say nothing. I just presented the video and did not say nothing about it. It was a method behind the madness, why I presented that video. The reason why I presented that video is because in this documentary, in this particular part of the documentary, we will see the common example of house Negroes. Notice what they're doing. Notice they're sitting at the master table, right? Remember where Urban was talking about this last week too, and stuff. Where when I was also when Urban was saying last week about we may sit at the master table, but we still don't have all the privileges and benefit as the master at the table. Remember when I was telling y'all that last week? So here it is. These group of house Negroes been allowed to sit at the master table, and it's the master who's asking them the questions about the community. It's the master who's asking them the question about the community. What can y'all do to fix y'all broken community, even though we already took a part of breaking up your community through different CIA initiatives and all this stuff that we already did that. We already know. So now we just playing a psychological game with y'all. Pretty much that's what it is. So he makes sure that he got together all these quote unquote house Negroes because he know that the house Negro is going to be compliant. So whatever he's going to present out there, the house Negro is going to be compliant and they're going to do it. They're going to utilize it and they're going to go and manipulate that and present it out to the black community or quote unquote black America. I don't mean for this to sound racist or anything, but I'm just telling you how this system is working. And just to let you know how the system is working. So yeah, throughout this little table talk, sitting at the master's table, I want y'all to pay real good attention. They may be they may be saying things, but I guarantee that not one of them is going to provide resources, and I guarantee that not one of them is going to provide solutions to the one problem. They're going to state the problem, but they're not going to provide solutions because you want to know why? Because they're sitting at the master table and they're looking for the master to give them the solution, which that's what's supposed to get ready to happen. They're relying on him to give them the solution. Yep, facts. Yeah, say the opposite, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. So let's go home. Let's go on. Let's hear one the white version of Kevin Samuels make his statistics about white people.
But in the 1960s, when this issue of what was happening, the breakdown of the black family in particular was raised, we all retreated from it. And as a consequence of that, blacks, in meetings that I've attended and read about and listened to, are debating the issue within the black community. And the facts are there. They come from the Census Bureau, they come from the Children's Defense Fund, that the rate of birth to black teens is twice that for whites. Women had 50% of all black families with children under 18 compared to 15% for white children. Only 41% of black children are living with both parents compared to 80% of white children and 70% of Hispanic children. So while it is true that white families are in trouble, that blacks are not the only ones who have children out of wedlock, the reality says that it's pronounced, it's exaggerated, it's concentrated in many respects among black families. Are you willing to admit that, or we?
I'm not only willing to admit it, I think we've got to sound the alarm about it. And I think increasingly that alarm is being sounded from within the black community, and that is the important change. I think that has occurred. There is no question.
So, how y'all feel about his Kevin Samuels' response to all that? Do y'all agree with his Kevin Samuel version of his response? Okay, y'all didn't want to. It slipped, bro. Urban is better than that. But now, do y'all agree with his Kevin Samuel data, the statistic analysis? Notice what he did. He was saying, well, it's not just black people, but, white people, we have the same problem. But, however, y'all problem is worse than our problem. Would you agree to that? Would you agree that, in other words, our problem is not as bad as your problem? Do you agree with that? Then guess what she said? Oh, yeah, I know. I agree with it. I want to have a closer look. I want to have a closer place at your table.
That this is a phenomenon that stretches across the face of the United States, and I couldn't agree with Jesse more, that we have to deal with it in its national context. At the same time, I think it is clear that it has reached crisis proportions in our community. When half of all the children are being born to single women who are disproportionately poor, we see the face of the next generation of black people. And if we keep this up, if we don't find a way to intervene, and it is so complex that intervention has got to take place on a number of levels, but if we do not find a way to intervene, we are going to see progressively greater disadvantage with each generation of black people, which is the antithesis of the American imperative.
There is a study at the University of Chicago that says if action is not taken, the year 2000, 14 years from now, we'll see 70% of all black families headed by single women and only 30% of black men employed. Now that's the future.
So, is that true? We're now in 2022, y'all. This documentary happened in 1986, all right? This documentary happened in 1986. We're now in 2022. So, is what he said valid? If 70% of black women are the sole breadwinner of the family now, if 70% of the women taking care of the household, if 70% of the women single mothers, is that valid right now in our modern day? Is that valid right now? Is that a true analysis? Is that a true quote-unquote prophecy based on data and statistics? Is it true? Is it true? Aloha! Welcome, Silas. Appreciate you tuning in. You have to catch the beginning of this too so you can get all this knowledge. Yep. I agree, man. I agree. That's why I call these the house Negroes. I agree. Now, keep in mind, once again, keep in mind that so far, they was allowed to speak after this, and so far, they have not provided no type of solutions. They haven't said nothing that was beneficial yet. All right. Mark, he said, yep. He said that is very valid in the modern day. Gotcha. The man said, yep, and the numbers is actually higher. Ooh, good. Lord. Lord. He said that the numbers is higher now. Oh, Lord. Oh. Then Miss Silas, she said, yeah, I think so too. I got you, sis. I got you. Then I'm mad, he said, because they planted like that. That's interesting. That's interesting. So here's something I want to present to y'all too. If that be the case, if this is something that they have planned, what was the whole point of them having this round table discussion? What was the whole point of this round table discussion? If they know that they was not going to provide any type of solutions. Oh yeah, appreciate. Yeah. Once we're over, you could go back and check out the beginning because it's a lot. And it's very interesting. I guarantee you. You'll enjoy it. Yeah, follow the breadcrumbs. I agree with you. On that, Matt. But let's continue to hear what they got to say, all right?
Future you're talking about.
And you know, in some sense, when we had the lack of government support mechanisms in days gone by, the only bulwark we had really was a sense of moral resistance, a sense of discipline, a sense of hope against hopelessness.
What's happened to that?
Well, in some sense, that hope has many of the grapes have been turned into raisins, and a lot of despair has set in. And I remember some years ago, about 1976, you might recall, Attorney Norton and I began to talk about in our schools about opportunity was about to outdistance effort, and that a formula of effort to the third power plus opportunity represented a breakthrough. And somehow we must keep this balance between effort and opportunity In one sense, is in this film an awful lot of despair, and in our analysis of it, we must not give the impression that we're defending it or trying to justify it, because it really is unjustifiable. I go to schools, Bill, and I'll ask 4,000 to 5,000 children, white, black, and brown, how many of you know someone who is dead because of drugs? Almost every hand will go up. How many know someone who is in jail because of drugs? Every hand goes up. In your generation. How many know someone at this school who has taken drugs? Hands up. How many know someone who has brought a gun or a knife to school? And I'll tell you whether it is the suburbs of Montgomery County, or San Diego, or Newark, or Boston, it is a pervasive threat to this generation of young people. And the most fundamental question when I ask them, do you believe taking drugs and babies having babies is morally wrong? There's a split opinion. There's no absolute ethic or moral resistance.
Mrs. Wallace said that.
To taking drugs or the baby. Then I said, well, do you think that taking drugs will kill you? Well, we're not sure. You can afford a baby. Not sure. So there is neither the moral nor the mental resistance at this point to the drug alcohol phenomenon or the babies making babies.
Now let's take three specific issues that were raised by the film, and we'll start with welfare. Charles Murray, in his book Losing Ground, called for scrapping the entire federal welfare and income support structure for people who can work. ADFC, Medicaid, food stamps, subsidized housing, and so on. He says this would leave the working age person with no recourse whatsoever except the job market, family members, friends, and public or private locally funded sources. Do away with it altogether. Force people to look for help from their peers and from whatever sources are nearby. And you saw in the film that one mother said, welfare makes me lazy. You heard Shaheed Jackson, your compatriot, say that it's become a way of life for many men over there. What do you think about welfare as a specific factor in this problem? Director Knox?
Well, I don't think we should do away with it. I think some people need it. I don't think that we should allow it to be a self-perpetuating institution, though. What happens is there's no steps taken to provide any incentive for people to get off of it. The result is you end up with people who are hopeless, who feel that that's the easy way out, and particularly in my profession, it creates a real problem for me.
How come?
Because I find that some of the kids that you saw in those films, guys like the slick one who walks around and he makes all these babies, and he has no sense of responsibility, is the same stick-up guy that I have to arrest every day. See, not only is the impact on me, but the impact's on everyone else in our community. And the result is that we don't have any place to put these guys, and I'm a firm believer that some of them are unsalvageable. You know, as much as I feel,
as Shaheed said,
that's right. As much as I feel compassion, you know, for trying to salvage kids that can be salvaged, you know, by providing another alternative for them except for this crime and stuff, I believe that some of them are unsalvageable. And I based that on 21 years of police experience.
You put your pencil down on the table when he said that. Were you disagreeing or agreeing with him? Are we going to have to give up on some of these and try for the next generation?
Well, I hate to say we have to give up, but I agree that we are sometimes confronted with individuals whose behavior compels of us as a pragmatic and moral matter that they be dealt with accordingly. And people who are violently brutalizing their primarily black neighbors in the central cities of this country, it seems to me, warrant that kind of response.
We'll come back on that point in just 1 minute after this message.
All right, y'all. So, final question of the night. All right. They have presented one more thing, right? They have said that they believe that some of these people are unsalvageable. In other words, they're saying that some of these people cannot be saved. They cannot change. They are stuck in their ways. So for the final question tonight, do y'all believe that some of us, as black people, whether you're in Black America or whatever, do you believe that some of us, or many of us, are unsalvageable, meaning that we cannot be saved? Do you believe that? Do you believe that we need to put them on the wayside and we just need to focus in on those who want to be compliant? Let me know what you think. while I give you y'all final music of the hour, wherever that's going to be. Go ahead, put your comments in the chat. Let me know what you think. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Final question of the hour. What do y'all think? Do y'all think some of us as black people, do y'all think we're unsalvageable? Meaning that we can't change, we're stuck in our ways, and ain't nothing we could do about them, and we just need to focus on the ones who are going to be compliant to whatever type of system that's put in place? Well, what do y'all believe? What do y'all believe? Same plane, but they're about to make a major move now. Yeah. Matt say, yep, cut them Negroes off. Say who we can and lose it all. I'm militant. You heard? Then Mark said, a lot will not be said too. Man, y'all both making some strong claims, bro. So let me ask y'all a question. Why do y'all feel that way? Why do y'all feel that way? I'm not saying what y'all saying is wrong. I just curious to want to know why y'all feel that way. Just curious to see why y'all feel that way. Yeah, Miss Sellers, she said, yeah, I feel you on that one. I feel you. Yeah, Miss Sellers, how do you feel about that? Do you think we're unsalvageable? Feel like we can't be saved? Well, at least the ones that they're talking about. How you feel about that? Here's an urban's perspective about this, okay? When it comes to this particular situation, I'm more conflicted about it, all right? Because in my heart, I want us to be saved. I want us to do better. So I feel real conflicted about it. I want us to do better. I want us to be saved. I want us to do better. But at the same time, some of these Negroes out here make you just want to say, forget y'all by their behavior. Some of them are out there, they'll make you feel that way. Some of them make you like, man, just stay away from me, bro. They'll make you feel that type of way. So that's why I feel conflicted about that. One point I want to feel like that there are certain things I could do to help people to get them saved, but at the same time, at the end of the day, I know at the end of the day, I cannot control no one. I cannot make no one do nothing that they don't want to do. I cannot do that, period. As much as I would love to, I can't. At the end of the day, it's based on choice. It's based on whether or not if people choose to want to do better for themselves, not just do better so they could be a part of a system that's not even designed for them to begin with in the first place. But I'm just saying, do better for you. Do better for you and your family. That's what I'm saying. But if some people don't even want to do that, there's some that don't even want to do that. So what am I going to do? Like even right now, with me and my platform that I want to present, I always give people a sociological and a psychological perspective about things that are happening in the community, things that are happening on the media, even things that are happening, worldwide. I give my perspective about it. But even then, that doesn't mean that not everyone is going to receive the message that I'm putting out there. There are some that's going to reject it for various reasons. They're probably going to reject it because they don't like the robe I'm wearing. They're going to reject it because they say that urban is urban bougie. They're going to reject it because of the color of my skin. They're going to reject it because how the way I talk. They're going to reject it because who I'm affiliated or associated with. They're going to reject it for all these different narratives. Instead of taking the message that's being put in out there and use it as an accountability moment to help them. But unfortunately, my brothers and sisters, that is the reality that we're in right now. That's the conundrum that we're dealing with right now. That is the disparity that we're dealing with right now. But that is how I feel about that. That is my perspective about it. It's my perspective about it. Yeah, Miss Sailor, she said, well, I don't know. I feel too sorry. Yeah, I agree with you on that. That Mark, he said, calls a victimhood. Yeah, I feel you on that. Then Miss Sailor, she said, yes, I urban want to, be safe, use safe and all stuff. The man say he want to say, but it was too late 40 years ago by that video. Man, I say, dang, man, forget that. Oh, man. Yeah, 60 years ago by Malcolm X. Yeah, facts, bro. Facts. Because there's so much that we're dealing with. So much that's happening, so much we're dealing with. That man's. But yeah. I mean, I get it. But here's something that I want to present to y'all too. I want to present this to y'all too as well. Even though I feel conflicted about, different things that are going on, especially within Black America or the Black community, that doesn't stop the fact that urban will at least try. That doesn't stop me from trying. I would at least try, or at least die trying, than to sit up there and complain about things that are happening in Black America and not do nothing, or not say nothing, or not participate in anything to at least help come up with some type of resolve or come up with some type of solution. So I will at least try my very best to do different things that I'm capable of doing. I will at least try that. That's within my reach to do. But however, there's some people out there who are not even trying to do anything. They don't want to do anything. They're not even trying, but have the audacity to complain about it. They had the audacity to complain about it. Them the type of people that I don't trust at all. Because they're not being realistic. They're not being truthful. They're not being none of that. So I will recommend to everyone who's watching right now. I recommend this, and it's totally your choice, because I know that you're not like me, and that's cool. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing neither, by the way. But what I would recommend, one of the solutions that you can do, that's for you individually, is to at least try to do something positive. Whether it's you doing what is known as each one teach one, and that each one teach one is simple, where you just take one individual and teach them. Teach them something positive, whether it's your family, your children, neighbors, or someone within the Black community or the Black structure. It is that simple. Want to know what else simple as well too? Another solution is you. Is you be the change. The only way the change will happen is by you changing your personal behavior or your personal social outlook about things. It will be you to make the change within yourself that project it out to others. This is what I do my best to do every single day, to the best of my ability. Am I perfect about it? Is people accepting it? No. Am I perfect about it? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Because I have my moments. But at least I'm doing something. I'm at least trying to do something. And so that's why I'm projecting that out there to y'all as well, to at least try to do something that could be revolutionary, that could be changing, that could be beneficial. At least try to do something instead of staying in that rut, instead of thinking that all is lost, thinking that you're defeated. At least try. So let's take a time just to consider that, okay? I appreciate everyone tuning in. I'm like way over my time, but I appreciate everyone who tuned in, who watched this. If you didn't catch the beginning of this, I highly recommend that you go back and catch the beginning of this, because I believe that this documentary is very good, it's very profound, and it's very true. So check it out. Check out my show from the beginning. All right. Like always, y'all continue to fight fate with faith, and I will see you on the next episode.
I don't care how long it take to get an op back. All my niggas outside, steak, bitch, we out back.